Hello, knowledge seekers. In this episode of 20-Minute Books, we delve into The Laws of Wealth, published in 2016 by Daniel Crosby. At its core, this book is a masterful blend of behavioral psychology and investment strategy designed to arm investors with the knowledge to overcome common psychological pitfalls. Crosby, with his PhD in psychology and vast experience in finance, brings to light the irrational behaviors that often derail sound investment decisions. From overconfidence to fear-driven reactions, Crosby meticulously outlines the ways our emotions and biases can cloud judgment and offers actionable advice for mitigating these risks. The Laws of Wealth is not only a guide for recognizing and correcting our behavioral missteps, but also lays down practical strategies to enhance investment outcomes. Crosby's credentials, including a successful history in finance, a PhD from Brigham Young University, and the authorship of the New York Times bestseller Personal Benchmark, position him as a leading authority on the intersection of psychology and financial planning. This book is an essential read for investors at any level seeking to refine their decision-making processes. Psychology enthusiasts curious about the financial implications of human behavior, and anyone considering the advantages of professional financial advice. Join us as we explore Crosby's insights into becoming a wiser, more self-aware investor. The Laws of Wealth, Psychology, and the Secret to Investing Success. Introduction. Unlock the secret to wiser investments by embracing your flaws. Imagine stepping into the thrilling yet volatile universe of stock investments, where each decision could lead you to substantial gains or daunting losses. Now, suppose there's a hidden dimension of risk, a kind of risk that doesn't stem from market trends or financial reports, but from within you. That's right. The most significant hazards we face in investment may not lurk in the numbers, but in our reflections in the mirror. Behold the world of behavioral risk, where the investor's own psyche becomes the battlefield. It's an unpalatable truth, but we humans are a quirky bunch. Our brains, marvelous as they are, often lead us astray in the dance of numbers and predictions. We succumb to the swirl of information, get swept up by emotions, and sometimes our instincts, instead of safeguarding our interests, guide us into the storm. If this paints a bleak picture, fear not. Recognizing our built-in flaws is the first step towards becoming a more astute investor. By understanding the snares laid by our psychological weaknesses, we can begin to navigate the investment landscape with greater acumen and caution. Dive into this journey, and you'll uncover intriguing insights such as the astonishing impact that the price tag on a bottle of wine has on how much you relish it, criteria to evaluate whether the people at the helm of a company deserve your trust with your investment, and an exploration of why letting your emotions, be it panic or exhilaration, dictate your investment moves can thwart your financial success. So, ready yourself for an exploration not just of the market, but of the investor psyche. Embrace the truth of our imperfections, and you'll unlock doors to wiser, more balanced investment choices. Part 1. The Peril of Too Much Confidence. Navigating Investments with Humility. Imagine living in a world where everyone believes they're above average. Sounds absurd, right? Yet this is precisely how most of us navigate through life, especially when it comes to evaluating our prowess in various domains, including the intricate world of investments. Take, for instance, an eye-opening study involving American high school students. When quizzed on how they rated their math skills on the global stage, the majority were convinced they were among the world's elite mathematicians. The reality? Their capabilities were, on average, just that. Average. This phenomenon, known as overconfidence bias, reveals a common human tendency to overestimate our abilities, often significantly. This isn't just about academic capabilities. Studies, including one by organizational researchers Tom Peters and Robert Waterman, have shown this trend extends to interpersonal and physical skills. Incredibly, all participants rated themselves as having better than average sociability, and a whopping 94% believed they had superior athletic skills compared to their peers. Clearly, not everyone's self-assessment can be accurate, but what harm does a sprinkle of self-esteem do, especially if it shields us from crippling self-doubt? In the sphere of investing, the stakes are radically different. An inflated sense of one's investment acumen can be costly. If you're convinced of your exceptional investment skills, every win on the stock market reinforces the belief in your unique talents, while losses are dismissed as flukes. This is an example of the fundamental attribution error, our tendency to misjudge the impact of our actions and external factors. Such a mindset prevents us from learning from our failures and evolving as investors. Overconfidence may lead you to believe you're exempt from the rules governing market dynamics, prompting disregards for risks and potentially reckless decisions. Moreover, undue self-assurance might deter you from seeking advice from seasoned financial advisors. The antidote to falling prey to overconfidence in investments? Humility. Acknowledging the limits of your expertise, learning from missteps, and being open to guidance are pivotal traits for anyone aiming to excel in the unpredictable game of investment. Part 2. Why keeping a cool head in investing matters more than you think. There's a peculiar thrill in experiencing the highs and lows of our emotional spectrum. From the melancholic beauty of a tragic film to the exhilarating rush of newfound love. These are the moments that add color and depth to our lives. Yet, when it comes to financial matters, particularly investing, letting emotions steer the ship can lead us into stormy waters. Consider an intriguing study by social psychologist Jennifer Lerner. Participants were divided into two groups. One was exposed to a tear-jerker scene, followed by a reflective writing exercise, while the other group engaged with a mundane documentary clip on fish, followed by a written recap of their day. The subsequent behavior of these groups in a selling task revealed a striking insight. Those unaffected by strong emotions set higher prices for their goods, outperforming their emotionally stirred counterparts by a notable 33% margin. This experiment illustrates how sorrow can cloud our judgment, rendering us less adept at making prudent decisions. But what about the flip side of the emotional coin? Joy and excitement? Behavioral economist Dan Ariely's research, featured in his 2009 tome, Predictably Irrational: The Hidden Forces That Shape Our Decisions, sheds light on this query. By comparing responses to sensitive questions before and after exposure to arousing content, Ariely discovered that excitement significantly skewed individuals' choices toward riskier behaviors, despite their awareness of the potential irresponsibility. Investing is, of course, a different realm from sexual decision-making, but the underlying principle remains pertinent. The adrenaline rush of making real-time, high-stake decisions can lead to a suspension of pragmatic judgment similar to the recklessness inspired by arousal in Ariely's study. Both joy and despair, it seems, have the power to derail our decision-making faculties. So, how does one navigate the treacherous waters of investment without floundering? One effective strategy, as we will explore, is to enlist the guidance of an investment advisor. The goal is not to eliminate emotions, an impossibility for us sentient beings, but to acknowledge their influence and mitigate their sway over our financial choices. Part 3. Why an investment advisor could be your smartest financial move. Think of the countless investors who armed themselves with every rule in the book, who've devoured countless resources, all preaching the virtues of meticulous planning and caution against impulse moves. Yet knowledge alone falls short in the heat of financial decision-making. This gap between knowing and doing is where hiring an investment advisor becomes not just helpful but crucial. Studies vividly illustrate the power of professional advice in guiding investors toward sounder decisions and adherence to their strategic plans. The tangible benefits of this guidance are undeniable. According to financial analysis giant Morningstar, Having an advisor in your corner can boost your annual investment performance by an impressive 2 to 3% compared to going it alone. But the value of an advisor transcends mere numbers. Consider the unnerving scenario of watching your life's savings dip dramatically during a crisis like the 2008 financial meltdown. Such situations test even the most steadfast investors' resolve. Data from Aon Hewitt and Financial Engines provides a compelling narrative. Those guided by advisors during the tumultuous years of 2009 and 2010 saw their investments outpace their peers by 2.92%. The role of an advisor extends far beyond crunching numbers or analyzing trends. The most impactful advisors assume the role of behavioral coaches, serving as an indispensable voice of reason amid our emotional tempests. They challenge our overzealous tendencies, employing strategies such as the pre-mortem analysis. This involves scrutinizing an investment's potential flaws before committing, a sobering exercise that can shield us from costly missteps. However, the marketplace of advisors is vast and varied. Not every advisor fits every investor's needs. Before entrusting your financial future to someone, it's critical to vet their credentials, philosophy, and approach to communication. The essence of a valuable advisor lies not just in their financial acumen, but in their ability to navigate the psychological complexities of investing. After all, as our journey has shown, mastering the emotional currents of investing is where the true challenge and opportunity lies. Part 4. Stay calm in the storm of investment news. Picture this. You've poured a significant chunk of your hard-earned savings into a promising company, only to wake up to headlines screaming about fraud investigations tied to that very company. Your heart races, panic sets in, and suddenly the urge to sell everything takes over. It's an all too familiar scenario for many investors, faced with a relentless stream of sensational news designed to capture attention. This environment makes it all too easy to act impulsively, led by fear rather than reasoned decision-making. Our brains are wired to react to threats, real or perceived. This catastrophizing reflex means that alarming news can trigger a cascade of worst-case scenarios in our minds. A minor dip in the stock market? To the panicked investor, it's the first step toward financial ruin. Yet, it's crucial to remember that the financial markets are inherently volatile. Fluctuations in stock prices are not just common, they're expected. What often sends investors into a tailspin is a market correction, a scenario where stock values adjust, often sharply after a period of inflation. This phenomenon, which typically occurs about once a year, sounds the alarm for many to sell, fearing further losses. However, these corrections don't spell doom for the long-term value of your investments. It's the knee-jerk reaction to sell during these downturns that does the real damage, locking in losses rather than riding out the storm. Ironically, the moments that feel the safest in the market, when stocks are soaring and confidence is high, can often be the riskiest, signaling overvaluation and potential bubbles. Conversely, the moments post-correction, when the market sentiment is at its lowest, might actually represent safer waters, reflecting more realistic valuations. The key for any investor is to withstand the market's ups and downs without succumbing to the panic that so often accompanies dramatic headlines and temporary setbacks. Successful investing requires a steady hand and a cool head, qualities that can stand you in good stead through all the market's inevitable storms. Part 5. Spotting the real deal. Why actions matter more than words in investing. In the glamorous yet gritty world of Wall Street, tales of deceit and manipulation replay like scenes from a thriller, with the echo of scandals perpetrated by figures akin to Bernie Madoff. Investors are left pondering how to steer clear of the financial abyss. The question looms: how do we dodge the sophisticated charades without falling victim ourselves? Intuition and a keen sense of judgment may seem like adequate tools to discern truth from fabrication. However, data paints a bleak picture of our lie detection capabilities. according to a comprehensive study in the Personality and Social Psychology Review in 2006 by psychologists Charles Bond, Jr., and Bella DePaulo. Our chances of correctly identifying liars based on their body language hover around a dismal 47%, a statistic that suggests you might as well rely on the flip of a coin. The sobering reality extends even to experts trained in the art of deception detection. An eye-opening experiment set within the confines of a prison showed that law enforcement professionals could distinguish between genuine and fabricated confessions only 42% of the time. This striking inefficiency calls into question our reliance on verbal cues and prompts a pivot towards more tangible indicators of trustworthiness. For the discerning investor, the key lies not in what company leaders say, but in observing where they place their own stakes. Executives and managers, privy to the inner workings of their operations, make telling decisions through their investments. Are they acquiring more shares, demonstrating faith in the company's trajectory, or divesting, signaling potential trouble ahead? This investment behavior is a crucial barometer. A 1992 study by the investment firm Tweedy, Brown revealed that companies exhibiting significant insider buying significantly outpaced their counterparts on the stock market, sometimes by a factor of 2 to 4. If those with intimate knowledge of the company's prospects are betting big on its success, it is a compelling endorsement that's hard to ignore. In navigating the tumultuous waters of investment, eschewing the siren call of persuasive executives in favor of scrutinizing their financial actions proves prudent. After all, in the complex dance of investment, actions not only speak louder than words, they herald the truth. Part 6. Value Beats Glamour, a Savvy Investor's Strategy. Imagine being presented with the opportunity to own a piece of culinary history, an oven mitt used by the iconic Julia Child, singed in the very act of creating her famed beef bourguignon. The allure of owning such an artifact could easily compel you to part with $52. This scenario exemplifies our tendency to ascribe value based on sentimental or historical significance rather than practical utility. This same principle of perceived value versus intrinsic value plays a critical role in the world of stock investing. The allure of expensive stocks can often cloud our judgment, leading us to equate high costs with superior quality. However, this equation doesn't always hold true in the financial markets. Stanford professor Baba Shiv conducted an enlightening experiment, illustrating this point vividly. Participants' brain scans revealed heightened pleasure from wine they were told was expensive, despite all samples being identical. This experiment underscores a fascinating aspect of human psychology. Our enjoyment and assessment of value are heavily influenced by price, even in the absence of actual quality differences. While indulging in Prisia wine based on perceived quality might be a harmless folly, applying the same logic to stock investments can have dire consequences. Glamour stocks, or those from buzzworthy startups and rapidly growing companies, seem irresistibly attractive. Their meteoric rise and allure can tempt investors into buying at peak prices, setting the stage for potential losses rather than profits. These investments often carry risks that aren't commensurate with their likely returns, especially when their value is driven more by hype than by fundamentals. The alternative? Value stocks. These unsung heroes of the stock market, derived from smaller or less celebrated companies, might lack the allure of their glamour counterparts, but they embody room for growth and represent a shrewd investment choice. Purchasing value stocks, akin to choosing the underdog, might not provide the immediate thrill of investing in a high-flying startup. However, this strategy offers a more sustainable path to financial growth, with less exposure to the volatile swings often seen in stocks priced more for their story than their balance sheets. Investing in value over glamour is a testament to the merits of practical, discerning investment choices. By prioritizing intrinsic value and growth potential over the fleeting allure of high prices, investors can secure steadier, more reliable returns. It's a strategy that might not always capture the headlines, but it's one that is likely to enrich your portfolio quietly and steadily over time. Part 7. Cautionary Tales. the lure of the new and shiny in investing. Once upon the early 17th century in the Netherlands, a single tulip bulb managed to capture the entire nation's imagination and wallets. This wasn't just any flower. It was an enigma with vibrant colors and exotic shapes never seen before. It became more than a plant. It was a status symbol, an asset, with prices soaring to the equivalent of 10 times an annual worker's salary. Then, in 1637, the bubble burst, leaving the tulip mania as history's first recorded speculative market bubble. This fascination with the novel and exotic isn't isolated to the tulip era. Fast forward to the late 20th century, and we find ourselves amidst the dot-com bubble, witnessing a similar pattern of unbridled enthusiasm for the unknown possibilities of the internet. Startups with .com in their names were the new tulips, with investors betting heavily on their success based solely on their futuristic allure. Consider etoys.com, a pioneering internet startup launched in 1997, which secured an astounding $8 billion, despite a modest $30 million in sales. Meanwhile, Toys R Us, an established toy company with significantly higher sales but perceived as old-fashioned, attracted less investment. This tale culminated in etoys.com, bankruptcy and eventual acquisition by Toys R Us, exemplifying how excitement can cloud rational investment decisions. The aviation industry further illustrates this phenomenon. Air travel has undeniably transformed our lives, shrinking our world with speedy connections across continents. Yet, despite its revolutionary impact and the glamour associated with it, the sector has historically been fraught with financial pitfalls for investors. Enormous operational costs, strong labor unions, and inflexible pricing models have made profiting from airline investments notoriously challenging. These historical narratives serve as a reminder of the inherent risk in being seduced by the allure of the novel and exotic when it comes to investing. While innovation and progress are undoubtedly exciting, they do not guarantee financial success. The lesson here is clear. Novelty may be enchanting, but it's the underlying substance and value that ultimately matter in investment decisions. Before falling for the next promising venture, it might be wise to ponder whether we're chasing the modern equivalent of a tulip, beautiful and enticing, yet lacking in enduring value. Part 8. Investing with Intention. Tailoring your financial strategy to your life goals. In the complex world of personal finance, the question of how much money one truly needs to feel fulfilled and secure can puzzle many. Conventional wisdom and societal benchmarks often suggest metrics such as amassing wealth equivalent to tenfold your annual income or achieving more extravagant material success than your neighbors. However, such external comparisons miss a crucial point. The answer lies much closer to home, within our individual aspirations and life's unique blueprint. Each of us is driven by a distinct set of priorities and needs beyond the basic necessities of existence. After essentials like food and shelter, our aspirations diverge significantly. For some, financial security means having sufficient savings to ensure a comfortable retirement and cover future educational expenses. For others, the value lies in having the freedom to pursue enriching experiences like traveling the globe. Recognizing these personal goals creates a personalized benchmark that guides our investment decisions far more meaningfully than any generic rule could. Understanding our own hierarchy of needs enables us to navigate the unpredictable waves of the financial market without losing our sense of direction. For instance, if your financial goal involves long-term savings for retirement, short-term fluctuations in the market may seem less daunting given the ample time for recovery. Conversely, if immediate family obligations, such as healthcare costs for a senior family member, dictate your financial planning, you'd lean towards more liquid and less volatile investment options. But how can we ensure our financial strategies resonate with our life goals? One effective approach is to shift how we think and talk about our finances. The power of language in shaping our perceptions and behaviors cannot be overstated. Consider how relabeling economic stimuli as a bonus might influence public spending behaviors, as observed by former U.S. President Barack Obama's administration during the financial recovery efforts. Applying this behavioral insight, naming our savings and investment endeavors according to their purpose, can significantly enhance our commitment to those goals. Research supports this notion, revealing how low-income families were more inclined to allocate funds for their children's education when using specially labeled envelopes bearing their children's images. Such a personalized approach not only aids in clarifying our financial intentions, but also bolsters our motivation to achieve them. Before embarking on your next investment venture, take a moment to reflect deeply on your personal values and ambitions. Aligning your financial decisions with your individual goals and dreams ensures that your investment journey is both rewarding and resonant with the life you aspire to lead. Final summary. The real test for investors isn't necessarily the volatility of the stock market. It's navigating the maze of their own human tendencies. The challenges of emotional reactions, irrational decisions, and overconfidence often stand between us and our investment success. Recognizing these personal pitfalls is crucial. To steer through them effectively, seeking the guidance of seasoned advisors and tailoring our investment strategies to align with our personal ambitions proves invaluable. It's about understanding ourselves just as much as we understand the markets, ensuring that our financial choices resonate with our life's unique map and goals. Thank you for joining me today on this journey of learning and discovery as we explored the insights of another thought-provoking book in our growing library of knowledge. If you've enjoyed our time together, please take a moment to follow our podcast, give us a 5-star rating, and share 20-minute books with other knowledge seekers. Your support truly means a lot. Don't forget to join me again in the next episode, where we will delve into another enriching book. Until then, happy reading and happy listening.